All right, guys, what's going on? Matty Euberflus hired by the Chicago Bears. This is Kurt Magoosh Sports. So Matty Euberflus hired by Chicago. This is a guy that has really led awesome defenses for the Indianapolis Colts. For a while, he was an assistant in Dallas, and then Chris Ballard, handpicked him to run the defense, and he's done a phenomenal job with like Darius Leonard. You look at some of their cornerbacks that have done well. They have a lot of guys that, again, they picked up DeForest Buckner. They just have a solid defense. And, the way that they played with Andrew Luck, they play a lot of zone, but it's certainly creative. I know what they did to Deshaun Watson in the playoff game was really, really special. They don't have a ton of flash on that defense, maybe not a lot of household names outside of Leonard, but they're always kind of in the right spots. And it's an interesting hire. I don't think it's the flashiest hire by any means. A 51-year-old, a guy who's paid his dues. It's interesting. A lot of people love these first-time coaches over a Dan Quinn. So, So a lot of people really. Listen, a lot of people didn't want Dan Quinn. I look at this hire, and again, a lot of it depends on what you think about Chicago. I like Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles is big time, all right? He worked in Kansas City. He was an offensive lineman at Boston College. Listening to him speak, he's incredibly just, professional. He's bright. He seems like a super easy guy to get along with. But the point is, he also helps out Kansas City. He helps out that run game. So he has a fantastic pedigree. And listen, he's very out and open with fans. He's done interviews. He was considered highly for the Giants. I think they nailed the pick of getting Ryan Poles correct. Now, the thing is with Euberflus is how is it going to work out with Justin Fields? Because out of college, I've had questions about Fields. I have questions about his delivery, throwing the football. He kind of has a quirky kind of Carson Wentz release as he throws the ball. His arm angle is out a little bit. Can he be accurate? Can he throw on time? And so a lot of the job is going to depend on Justin Fields with this new coaching staff. And a lot of it's also going to depend on what offensive coordinator comes in for Matt Euberflus. I think Euberflus is okay. I think it's more like an average hire. I view Euberflus probably, I do view him a lot higher than Nathaniel Hackett. Hackett I gave like a D+, C-. This hire's a direct C to me because I'm not enthused about this hire either. I really like Kellen Moore in this cycle. DeMeco Ryans, I know he's only been at it 1 year, but his defenses have been incredibly prepared, and I guess you could say it's Saleh, but DeMeco shows tremendous leadership skills that are always on display. You do have Mike McDaniel. That's a big kind of wild card in this process. Euberflus to me is just okay. So, if Matt Euberflus, maybe he's a guy that sticks around for a while. Maybe he could be consistent, and maybe that's what Ryan Poles was looking for, is a guy that's going to be adaptive. Can he adapt, and can he stay consistent? And that's the thing about Chicago, is that they had John Fox. They did have Lovey for a very long time, and Lovey did build those defenses pretty damn well. So Lovey was a pretty good coach there for a while. But Euberflus, is okay. Again, Dan Quinn, Kellen Moore, Kevin O'Connell, I think could be really special. He has the demeanor of a head coach. But again, it's do people believe in the young quarterback, and what's the vision kind of going to be? A lot of these jobs actually have young quarterbacks that are already selected. You look at Jacksonville, you look at all the situations here. So, again, I look at Euberflus, and I think that he's going to run a lot of zone defense, but the upside to me isn't that high, whereas Kevin O'Connell and DeMeco Ryans, you can hit home runs with those upsides, and maybe a lot of it, too, is that I also don't really believe in Justin Fields all that much. But overall, it's a decent hire. He did a really nice job with the Indianapolis Colts defense. It's a little strange that Dan Quinn doesn't get the opportunity because Dan Quinn was a head coach before. So again, I think that Quinn is a good candidate. I'm excited to see him go back to Dallas and kind of prove these haters wrong a little bit. But this hiring cycle so far, I mean, with how competitive the NFL is, you look at the quarterbacks like Herbert or Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. I know the NFC is more wide open, but you have Josh Allen, Mahomes. Now you're going to have Aaron Rodgers maybe going to Denver out in the AFC, which would be pretty wild. It's just very... I know that the NFC North could be wide open, but it is tough to break in. And it is tough to break in the NFL. There's going to be a lot more coaches that are average that are elite. And I look at the guys last year. I think Arthur Smith is actually going to be the guy that's going to be elite from last year's class. I love the way that him and Terry are building it. I love the way that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they're just unique guys that I would love to work for. The Lions are really the team that I absolutely love, because they have that, right now in the NFL, it is definitely, data-driven numbers versus old school kind of toughness. Who can marriage that together is going to be really interesting. Because we know that the Packers are probably more traditional, more like towards old school, more towards, tangible film. The Vikings are totally data-driven. The Bears are going to be a combination of both. And then, the Lions, they do a little bit of both with Brad Holmes. I love how Campbell is as a coach. So, again, it's going to be a great NFC North. With Aaron leaving, I mean, it's going to be a wide-open conference. Even Detroit has a chance. Jordan Love, whoever the quarterback is of Green Bay, there's going to be so much drama in this offseason, even with Minnesota's quarterback as well. Justin Fields' development. It's a very intriguing league to see what happens. But, Euberflus, again, deserves it. Good guy, good scheme, solid. Pretty dependable. What is the upside going to be? Is he going to be bland or is he going to be spectacular? He could be maybe productive. I would have chose other guys over him. It's not a terrible. It doesn't seem like an awful hire. Nathaniel Hackett actually has the potential to be even worse than Euberflus, I believe. So, all righty, guys. And you do have Ryan Poles, who I think is a very good general manager in Chicago.